Hello Flickering Myth family and welcome to our channel. My name is EJ and buckle up for today's movie review. We are discussing the new Luca Guadagnino film, Challengers. To be 100% honest with you all today, I think Challengers is going to be one of my favorite films I see all year. This movie just hit a certain little note that I needed. It fed me everything I wanted, from the scandalous love triangle that's here, to the wonderful performances from our three actors, to the score, to the visuals, to the writing, directing. Everything just worked here. My only complaint is I would have chopped maybe 10 minutes off. It dragged slightly near the end, but it's because I honestly think I was craving the end of the story so bad, the conclusion. It was such a compelling journey that I wanted the end to get there, because I'm like, truly, where could we take this? It is quite interesting to see Luca Guadagnino, a filmmaker who I have been impressed with from Call Me By Your Name, fell in love with Suspiria, and have continued to enjoy his work. But what he does with Challengers is really feel like he comes into the American mainstream with a film that could work for everyone. Suspiria, Call Me By Your Name were definitely art house films. Challengers has an art house aesthetic to it. It's definitely trying to call back to a time where dramas ran the film industry, thinking like French New Wave, or thinking in the 90s where we would actually have like erotic thrillers or dramas that were able to be sold. We don't need an extra attachment. This movie is not a drama satire. It's not a comedy drama. It is a bit of a romance. The love here, this shows me romance is more chaotic than anything, but this is a pure drama, old school drama, but it works in a very modern way. This could easily feel like a movie for your grandparents. Oh, it's like a love triangle about tennis, and it's just kind of three people figuring out their relationship. There is something kind of bare bones and, like I said, classic to it, but with three of the youngest, hottest actors working today, with Zendaya just producing and putting her own stamp on this. This feels fresh and new. It's crazy that a drama, a very basic like a genre that we have in our film industry, can feel fresh and new, but with good directing, good acting, and a good script, Challengers proves that honestly, old school can come back in, feel fresh, feel new, and blow you away. Tashi is the hottest name in tennis. That's where we start off knowing our characters in Challengers. She meets these two younger guys who are in the tennis circuit, who are very enamored by her instantly, and they're drawn to her. Well, we follow these three as they go through a story of love, of drama, of heartache, of finding out who they are. There is so many layers that we take with these three people, but we're seeing Tashi, we're seeing Art, and we are seeing Patrick. These three are intertwined from a very young age, and we see how their relationships go throughout time, throughout careers, throughout love, throughout breakups. It's intense. We're truly watching Tashi find herself as a tennis star, but then have it all ripped away from her. So then she has to put her skills behind one of the men. I don't want to spoil anything. If you see the trailer, you can kind of pick up where things are going, but I went into this fairly fresh, and I want you guys to go as well. So we have Art, who is played by, Mike Faist. You may know him from West Side Story. And on the other end, we have Patrick, played by Josh O'Connor. He was in The Crown. These two men are so fabulous in this movie. Their relationship feels so authentic and real. That's something I will say throughout all the performances, throughout the characterizations. It all felt authentic. It felt real. But specifically these two guys, I felt like I knew these guys. I felt like they're just common dudes you would meet, and the situation that they end up finding themselves in, it really makes sense. It's understandable. And when they do dirty things, maybe to one up each other in certain regards, you're like, oh, I get it. Again, it's real human people. And then we have Zendaya playing Tashi, who is scandalous, who is, oh my goodness, this girl is tennis focused. We have everything around her, these two men fighting for her attention, and she's purely like, you know what turns me on? Do you know what gets me going? Tennis. Are you good? Are you good? Like, it's crazy. This character, her characterization is really cool, because she could feel one note. She could feel almost villainous, as she's so driven, but this is a character we would usually give a male role to. Zendaya plays Tashi as you would see a man in a 80s, 70s, 90s kind of movie, but with her essence, her soul into this performance, it breathes new new life into what would I think is a pretty easy to fill in role, but she gives it so much different things, especially watching her relationship with Art and Patrick evolve. And, there is this scene that you've seen in the trailer where there is some flirting between the boys and maybe the girls, and everything's kind of crazy. And it feels like we're watching a master manipulator pull all the strings. Up until the very end, you do not know who is in control. And that's what I absolutely loved about the story and their performances. Like I said, Mike, Josh, and Zendaya are all very talented actors, but they really do something great with the script. They do something great as performers. They figure out what they need to do and they enhance it. They give it reality. They make you feel like you know these people, like you hate these people. My goodness, Luca Guadagnino makes you want to punch a twink in the face like nobody else. God, these characters are frustrating, they're angering, but I love them. I don't want to praise anything these people do in this movie, but my goodness, I was so suckered into everything that they did that I just was like, wow, let's just watch crazy people be crazy.
I'm taking such good care of my little white boys.
In all honesty, Challengers is one of my favorite movies I've seen in quite some time. It's a little bit erotic, it's a little bit scandalous, it's a pure up, straight up trauma, but I love the technical aspects of it. My screening has a bit of an asterisk to it. My aspect ratio was a bit off, so I feel like I didn't get the full look of what this movie should have looked like, but I loved the coloring. I loved the way the camera moved. There was times where, they talk about a good tennis match is two people. It almost feels like two people having intercourse with each other. It's very involved. And there was a shot near the end of this movie where you felt like you were the ball being tossed in between these two people, and you're like, oh my goodness, I just love the filmmaking. And you cannot talk about Challengers without talking about the score. Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross ate this score up. It's another character. Just like May December and Saltburn had scores that really felt like they took over the movie and became another character, there is a fourth person in this love fiasco that we have going on, and it's the score of this movie. It comes in at the craziest times. It makes you feel things. Sometimes it's a bit overpowering, but I think that's all intentional to give you back, to throw you back to the old school melodramas. I loved so much about this. Again, technically, it's really strong. In the editing, I could have maybe chopped off a little bit. I felt like we were hitting some repetitive notes. The story structure is strange as well, since we're in one tennis match, but we keep going back 13 years, one night before, blah, 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 and we're kind of jumping around in time. I wouldn't say it's confusing, but it does take you a moment to get adjusted to this format, to the storytelling vehicle. So it took me a while to get adjusted. I got adjusted, and I loved it. Again, the editing guy would have just tightened up things just ever so slightly, but I have almost no complaints for this movie. Top tier acting, top tier filmmaking, just one of those movies that really blows you away with what they got away with. Without a doubt, I will find myself watching Challengers quite a few times this year. Zendaya is one of the best actresses we have going on, but she's turning out to be quite the producer as well, finding, this perfect script for Luca, for her, for, Mike and Josh as well. Everyone came together for a perfect, oh my god, must-see old-school drama, and I hope you guys enjoy it when you get a chance to see it. I was so privileged to see it as early as I did. I'm filming this weeks before the movie comes out, and I'm just going to sit here and foam and think about this movie and want to talk about it with other people, but I can't. So happy I'm getting to talk about it with you all today. What did you think of my review? What do you think of Challengers? Share your thoughts down in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Keep it as spoiler-free as you can. If you're going to comment and talk about the movie if you've seen it already, let's keep it spoiler-free so everyone can go into this wild movie on their own. But my goodness, thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, subscribe, thumbs up, comment, and let's talk about Challengers right down below.